몇 등으로 끝났는지는 중요하지 않으니까 결국 저희가 엄청 잘해줘서 플레이오프에서 누굴 만나든 이길 수만 있으면은.
I think Rush and Move are pretty similar. Rush, he's going to be basically running around the map.
Helios is the third kill, a triple for Rush. Move has made so many smart choices as a player. The move, living up to his name, heading up to the top lane, flash, late bounce, very smart mechanical play by Move.
Now that we can control our own destiny for the first seed, it'll prove how good we are.
그래비티가 강한 팀인 건 사실인데 못 이길 팀까지는 아니에요.
Welcome everyone to week 9 of the North American League Championship Series, coming to you live from our studios here on the West Coast. Now we're heading into the final weekend of the regular season, and the fans are out in force to cheer on their favorite teams as they do some last-minute jockeying for playoff positioning. Now here you see Counter Logic Gaming arriving to the studio a little earlier. They'll be hitting the rift after our first game, Team 8 versus Liquid. There's Team 8 in the player lounge. They've got a tough weekend ahead of them as they try to hold on to 7th place. And here's Dominate and Quas along with the rest of Team Liquid warming up. Mark, the analyst, watchful eye over their shoulders. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson, along with Aiden Zyrene Moon and Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. Gentlemen, we made it. Final weekend of the regular season. How do we feel?
Did you have doubts that we would make it?
I don't know.
It was touch and go there for a second for Dash. We didn't tell him about it.
All right, well, we have reached that final week of the regular season, and each team has exactly 2 games left to make their mark before playoffs. So let's take a look at how they're stacked up in the standings. In first place, it's Gravity. 1 game back. In second, we have CLG, Team Impulse, and Team Liquid. TSM is in 5th, followed by Team Dignitas in 6th. Then rounding out the standings, it's Team 8 in 7th, Cloud9 in 8th, and Enemy Esports in 9th. Team Dragon Knights are in 10th and have been auto-relegated. In today's lineup, we've got Team 8 taking on Team Liquid. Then it's Team Dignitas versus CLG, and a bit later, Enemy will do battle against TSM. We'll conclude the day with TDK trying to play spoiler as they go up against Cloud9. Then in our game of the week, we're highlighting Gravity versus Team Impulse. Both teams vying for that all-important first-round playoff bye. We're talking about playoffs and the fight to win the title of North American champions, but teams are also out to bank championship points. Those will play a key role in determining which teams will play at Worlds. The first place team from the summer split will automatically claim the number 1 seed from North America. The second spot will go to the team with the most championship points. And the third spot will be decided by a regional qualifier, which is seeded by those very same points. Now, to remind everyone, TSM grabbed first in the spring split and the 90 points that come along with it. They're followed by Cloud9, who has 70, and Team Liquid right now has 50. Those awards only increase with the summer split, where the second place team grabs 90, 70 go to third, and so on. Now, guys, at every level of the standings, the stakes are high, and this is one of the most competitive weeks we've ever had to close out a split. At the top of the table, we have 4 teams all within 1 game of grabbing a semifinal berth. Among them is the hottest team, Team Impulse, but the league was rocked by news that their mid laner Xiao Zhao has been suspended for elo boosting.
Yeah, that's got to be the biggest shakeup coming into this week. Team Impulse, they were the hottest team in the league. They had the longest winning streak of any team all split long. And now one of the defining players on their team, Xiao Zhao, is not going to be playing for the final week. This is huge. Yes, they were able to get Adrian back, though, so that's a good thing for them. They'll have him back on support, and we're going to move Gate over to mid lane and see how he does. It's going to be a rough week for him, though, because Impulse actually have the toughest schedule, I think, of any of the teams this week, because they're facing Gravity and Team Liquid, 2 of those top teams.
Yeah, Gate, though, he was originally a mid laner, so he'll just have to slot back into that position. We'll see how they do, but it's bad for TIP, but it's good for those teams that they're going to face, right? Team Liquid now ends up having a really easy schedule. They just have to play Team 8, and they have to play the wounded TIP. And Liquid is looking for one of those playoff buys, and they are one of the teams now that Phoenix looking like a mid laner who's in the top 2, Xiao out of the picture. I don't know if anybody can stop them from claiming one of those buys.
Meanwhile, we jump over to CLG, who look to be over their midseason slump and could be a contender to grab one of those top spots.
Yeah, I mean, they're on a win streak as well, albeit much shorter than Impulse's win streak. But CLG, they seem to have recovered, at least mentally, from their stumble in the mid-season. So that's very good for them. Also, their opponents are Dignitas and Team 8 this week. So they're feeling very confident moving towards one of those buys that you talked about. I think that they may have the easiest road to get to at least the tiebreaker position for the second buy, and they'll probably face Team Liquid, I think, now.
Without their 1-1 split, yeah. I really want to see that game 3 out of them.
Well, then, of course, we have to talk about our first-place team, Gravity. They've got a 1-game head start, but there's a target on their backs by the rest of these teams.
Yeah, the fact that they're number 1, they didn't play like a number 1 team last week. They struggled against.
I have a small feeling that we won't see them play Vi again.
I really hope. It's not more than a feeling. I just hope that they don't play Vi again. It was just a really poor performance. He did get the smites though. Move had to pull that game.
But you can do that on any champion.
Well, you can do.
That's not a Vi specific.
I know.
They have to have a jump to get over the pit.
Oh, I said I hope they don't play Vi, but Move had an okay performance in terms of smites. Overall, not very good, though. But yeah, they lost to Dignitas, and then they ended up having to fight really hard against Team 8. But it's a sigh of relief because they have a very easy schedule. And we've been saying easy schedule here at the desk a lot, but they play TDK, and they play Tip without Xiaowei Xiao. So Gravity looks like they're going to get locked into that first place spot. Almost no problem.
Well, a lot of shuffling around can happen in those top slots there in the standings. But before we send it over to our casters to get us into the games, head over to Twitter and send in your questions for our resident league expert and all-around good guy, Jat. Hit us up with your questions about champion builds, playoffs, or general knowledge trivia by tweeting at LOL Esports and use the hashtag AskJat. He'll be joining us a bit later on the desk to answer a few of your questions. But now, without further ado, let's kick it over to our casters for Game 1.
Thank you very much, Dash. What is up, everybody? I am David Freak Turley, and with me for our first 3 matches is Joshua Jat Leisman. How's it going, man?
Is that a question, Freak? You got to tweet it in like the rest of them.
Damn it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Pay attention.
He will tell me how he's doing a little while later in the show. It's fine. Guys, we're coming up with our first game of the day. It's Team 8 versus Team Liquid. Team 8, they are only 1 game ahead of Cloud9. They're battling for that 7th place spot, the guaranteed spot, the upcoming split, and they're close.
Yeah, and honestly, Team 8, they've continued to show improvements and actually led Gravity in the first 30 minutes of their game last week. But time and time again, it's kind of late game mistakes that are allowing enemy teams to make comebacks, and that's what happened in the Gravity game. Also, we have to note the Team 8 are 1-1 in their head-to-head with Cloud9. Also a 1-game lead on them in the standings. And with a tough schedule for Team 8, they're probably going to have to step it up if they want to avoid a tiebreaker at the end of the week.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting road for them. So even though Team Liquid are the favorites in this game, they are, of course, in this packed field vying for the second first-round bye here. And, of course, they can't afford to overlook Team 8. Just in case they're prepping for Team Impulse tomorrow. And honestly, Liquid look like a team that might be headed to Worlds here. And Quast says that motivation's at an all-time high for the team. And they're ready to leave it all in the Rift this weekend.
Right now, we're really motivated on winning these matches this week. I think we're all been playing really well, and we are becoming more and more focused in our practice, which has been better for us. So we're not just being content with being high on the top. We want to be first or second for sure.
Yeah, honestly, these guys definitely look very solid. All the players seem to be really firing on all cylinders here. 3rd place playoff team last time around, and now they're looking, to take that 2nd place spot and move in through the playoffs.
Yeah, it's been a very steady progression upwards for this team. Even if they have these little road bumps along the way, they are looking incredibly strong.
Yeah, they've won 6 of the last 5. It's a good team overall. For now, we're going to check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, Team 8. Khaled trolls up in the top lane, Porpoise in the jungle, Golden Glue in mid, Neon on AD carry, Dodo on support.
And of course, the coach history teacher on the red side, it is Team Liquid with Quast in the top lane. I will dominate in the jungle. Phoenix in the mid lane, Pig on AD carry, and Xpecial on support.
With Coach Peter behind them.
Absolutely.
Got the teamwork going on here. The coach is brought up by the co-caster here. Now, guys, you guys might have watched the European LCS or the Challenger Series throughout the week. We are on still 5-13, but Tom Kench is available. You guys might have seen SK Gaming top laner Freddy122 play him. He won that game, so we've already seen some professional Tom Kenches out there. We'll see if we have any more.
Yeah, obviously, the players that are going to be playing him, most people will have an idea of who's going to play it because they've been spamming it in solo queue as well as playing in a few scrims. So the teams that will be playing it will be a little bit of a tell. This one, however, I'm happy to see a Rise ban. That is very common on this patch for the red side team.
Once in a while, people let it through, and it's usually mistakes. So That came through. Phoenix also draws the Azir ban. No one at all in the world of surprises happened. I feel like it's the equivalent of banning Ryze on red side. It's like you should ban Azir against Phoenix. And actually, just honestly, teammate, just like the cream of the crop is gone, right? Azir, Sivir, Alistar, the ones you expect from all those roles.
Somewhat targeted bans, but honestly, that's just the Azir. Even though Piglet has played Sivir, that's mainly just power picks for both sides as far as this ban phase goes. Tristana would be the new one, honestly. That's
interesting.
More of a targeted pick.
That makes it almost a Corki pinch in a way. It seems the tier list is Kalista, Sivir, Tristana, Corki as like the top 4 AD carries.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Unless, so one kind of strange thing is over in the LPL, Vayne sees a ton of play.
Yeah.
And also in the LCK, Kog'Maw is making a big resurgence. So there's a chance the Team Liquid might kind of be on this train, pinching Corki only because they want to play a Kog'Maw or Vayne into it.
Yeah, we'll see if that's the case here. And you're right, like that becomes a very interesting sort of scenario then if you're planning for a champion select where you're like, yeah, we're going to go for this strategy. We expect one of your lane matchups, and we know that our strategy does well in the matchup. There is that Corki first pick after all, and the end gets what he thinks is the best AD carry left.
We shall see.
We shall.
Whoever wins this game will prove once and for all who the best AD carry champion is in the game. Right? That's the way it works.
That's one single game where Team Liquid are the heavy favorites, and Piglet will show us the best AD carry in the game. Yeah, honestly, though, all the junglers left up. Most top laners, every support not named Alistar, and right now Team Liquid say, yeah, Maokai for us, take away from Cali Trolls and the Nidalee. Super sought-after jungler.
I really like the Maokai and Nidalee synergy because Nidalee not only is incredibly powerful on this patch, but it's a high damage jungler with a tank top laner. So you're enabling your damage and tank line to still exist, and you're filling the void that would be left by a damage jungler by putting one of the biggest tanks in the game in the top lane.
Yeah, definitely going to be nice. So Team Liquid already pretty well rounded. You can expect physical damage to come out of the bot lane at some point with Corki gone. Quickly though, teammate honestly hiding some of their picks here. The Gragas picked up right away, not necessarily needed, but the Braum coming through to make a very defensive bot lane, and teammate hiding their solos for now.
Yeah, Braum has been making a massive comeback since the, honestly, somewhat small-looking buffs onto his Q, giving it a little bit more base damage and mana cost reduction. But honestly, huge protection ability, very good against poke as well, so that's to counter the Nidalee. And as we expected, Kog'Maw making a big resurgence in the LCK, Piglet, an AD carry who hails from the LCK, just came over this year, goes for that Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and it just looks like a big protect the Cog composition already, right? There's the defensive tank, there's the Janna peel, there's the Nidalee attack speed.
We're saying that now, but actually it could also be a mid lane Kog'Maw.
Absolutely.
So it's not only is it a pick that can counter and be a high-powered AD carry, it's also a pick that could flex to give even more options for Phoenix's last pick.
Very true. So this is going to be an interesting setup then. Team Liquid could pivot. They could go Lulu mid and really just play the Juggernaut, or they could honestly just go for, AP Cog and, a defensive AD carry that'll appeal for people and, do whatever. So really cool look here for Team Liquid. Nice picks and bans so far. Team 8 to define their composition. They don't have the best of engage, and here comes the damage output. Top lane Fizz comes through in the Victor mid, so team fight powers here.
Yeah, huge amount of damage from Victor. Victor also seems to excel in team compositions when the enemy can't dive him or when he has a strong front line. And it's looking like he fits both of those situations right now. However, if they end up going with the Caitlyn, it's kind of a full poke comp for Team Liquid with the Kog'Maw and the Nidalee, which would make it maybe a little more difficult for Victor to succeed because he'd then be vulnerable to poke, which is a strange way of thinking about backline access, but it can exist. And yeah, maybe this is going to be, with the barrier already selected as a summer spell, Phoenix's mid lane Kog'Maw. Yeah,
I think we do see a long-range AD carry with a poke mid right here. Honestly, teammates engage is a little bit forced, especially when you consider that there's already a Janna on the enemy team. Gragas can try with barrels and Fizz can go into with his body, but no, Team Liquid change it around. They do go for the utility mid here. I had said Lulu, but it's Orianna here. Piglet, one of the only major damage sources on the team on this Kog'Maw.
Yeah, that's...
Well, I shouldn't say that. Nidalee and Orianna are pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like they're putting a lot of eggs in the Piglet basket, but because the Nidalee and the Orianna are dual purpose and damage dealers as well as protectors, it's a very versatile generalist team comp actually for Team Liquid with a decent late game scaling, whereas Teammate has also gone with a somewhat generalist team composition.
Yeah.
So this will be an interesting game to watch here.
Definitely will be. I feel like team fight power is a huge thing right here. Teammate, if they can win this game, they keep that arm's reach over Cloud9 and would force them to have to go 2-0 to even tie for 7th. Team Liquid, honestly, in control of their own destiny. They can win every single game they play this weekend, are guaranteed a bye in the playoffs. Everyone in the audience, I like that Pobelta sound is out there. He's not playing this one, but it's okay. Coach come out for the handshake. This will be the last game. The last game these two teams play against each other this year here, and potentially the last two games well, probably not for Team Liquid, but maybe the last two games of the split we see here for Gravity. But guys, Teammate, I can't speak properly. Send your votes in for this game. Tweet at LOL Esports. Use the hashtag T8 winner, the hashtag TO, and let us know who you think's going to win this one. It is a battle for playoff seeding and a battle to keep yourself in the LCS here. Team 8, the big underdogs up against Team Liquid. Let's get ourselves into the game.
Yeah, really can't say enough how huge this win will be for Team 8 if they can secure it. It would give them a 2-win gap over Cloud9, meaning Cloud9 would have to win both of their games this weekend just to force a tiebreaker and would allow Team 8 to then secure with another win. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, 1 game behind of Gravity in the win column. Incredibly important for them to take this one down as well, because we know how important a bye will be for Team Liquid. It basically guarantees that they at least make it to Madison Square Garden for the finals and third place game, and would also secure them a fair number of fantasy or championship points just making it into that, especially since Team Liquid's one of those teams that wants to make that jump as well.
All right, so we are informed, by the way, it was a pause. Golden Glue's the man who typed in the pause, but we're told that wrong summoner spells. We are not yet at game of record, so we'll have to see what the exact decision is in this one, but we may... it's either it could be, I don't want to speculate what it could end up actually being as a result here, but the pause was for incorrect summoner spells on teammate's side. And so as they get sorted out, we'll see what that ends up happening.
Yeah, we'll have to get a referee ruling to see whether or not it's worthy of a game remake. And then if it is, then we'll remake the game.
Yeah, Cali Trolls is running Flash TP on Fizz, which seems very atypical. You typically see Ignite or Smite on that champion, so that would be my guess on who it was, but it's only speculation at this point. So yeah, you mentioned it's not only a very important game where Team Liquid are playing for playoff spots and Team 8 are playing to keep their LCS team alive without having to play in relegation, but as far as this game's actual matchup is concerned, it's two generally team fight focused teams, right? Team Liquid, you talked about how Nidalee and Orianna can deal damage, but it's still a big shield the Kog'Maw team.
Right.
Team 8 actually have some cool split push with Cali Trolls as well as some good team fighting.
Yeah, we'll talk about these team comps a little bit. One thing that will be kind of pivotal in this is whether or not Cali Trolls is able to get the game remake, because he has Flash Teleport on Fizz right now. Probably wanted Ignite Teleport in this matchup, because Fizz, if he gets ahead of Maokai, can be an incredible split push threat, and that will be needed to kind of stop the death ball that Team Liquid is going to be creating with their very shieldy and attack speed boosting team composition, Nidalee, Orianna, Janna, and Kog'Maw. Meanwhile, if you think of the split push team, pretty decent disengage if you consider Gragas and the Braum being able to run away, as well as poke blocking. So a lot of this game will hinge on whether or not Cali Trolls can get an advantage on Quas, because if he's neutralized by a Maokai split pushing, it seems like Team 8 won't have any avenues to win this game.
Yeah, true, especially with the fact that Janna could just peel the Fizz off. You're not going to reach these guys very easily. And yeah, I do want to see sort of what lanes get emphasized, what the teams end up prioritizing here in their early game ganks. Something we haven't talked about much in a while. And I know jungle ganks are often opportunistic. If they appear, they're there. But one thing is teams can prioritize ganking certain lanes to get certain matchups ahead, right? If they really want the Fizz to come out swinging, right? Like, get the early pink wards down, have Porpoise camp on that side of the map, maybe get the wards down to track dominate, and maybe he can gank Quas more than normal to make sure like that matchup goes well.
I mean, it's one of the cool things about the evolution of the competitive game, specifically this year, it feels like, is in North America and Europe, more so than in the Asian leagues, there's a huge amount of lane swapping that's been going on.
Yeah.
And that gives the team the opportunity to pick their people that they starve and the people that they let succeed. As far as within the NA LCS, CLG is probably the best at this, and specifically with top lane Fizz. You see it with Zion Spartan all the time. Yeah. Because of the way they lane swap, they're able to get Zion Spartan just wave manipulation and rotation-wise 20 to 30 CS advantages, and then they equalize the lanes, and he pushes it from there. Of course, that takes a lot of team coordination and practice to do that style, and it has its costs, like giving up first dragon sometimes, giving up experience advantages in other lanes, but it's on that individual to push it. And that's something that maybe Team 8 would like to be able to do, but I'm not sure if they can do it in this context.
Yeah, and I know we've seen Team 8 have sometimes struggles with the macro sense of sort of playing it. We've seen them break freeze when they weren't supposed to, push lanes when they weren't supposed to, miss out on objectives when they weren't supposed to. But you mentioned sort of the evolution of the lane swap games and starting people, getting people ahead, there's actually a specific interaction that I really like. One of the evolutions here is now that people push in turrets on like the second and third wave and the turret dies really fast, you can choose who gets the turret gold and what recall timings you end up getting. So for example, if you're playing like a Tristana or like a Caitlyn or something, the best you can do is get a pickaxe timing, and you get like exactly 875, you give all the gold to the AD carry, and he recalls and his lane's good. If you can't reach that timing, teams typically give the gold to their top laners, and they get them ahead instead so that matchup's better and that person can snowball the 1v1. Both these AD carries are Trinity Force users, meaning they don't need that pickaxe power spike, meaning they should give that gold to the top laner. So theoretically, Cali Trolls and Quas are actually a little bit pushed up in these and actually have accelerated gold compared to their teams.
Well, it'll depend specifically on also what choices they decide to make, because while Quas will want to keep pace with Cali Trolls, we're getting very into it. Obviously, the pause is still happening because the referees are deciding whether or not this is warranted of a remake. But because Kog'Maw is so powerful once he hits his power spike, and because they have the Nidalee and the Janna to make him more powerful, you don't necessarily want to sacrifice your AD carry farm for your top laner, since your top laner is much less of a carry. And I'm just interested to see the choices these teams make and whether they're executed properly. Because if one team messes up and the other team doesn't, then you're going to have both the top laner and the AD carry with CS differentials by 10 minutes.
That's true. Then it becomes a really fun, interesting, lopsided matchup. Now, guys, we are getting ourselves back into the game. The referees have decided that there will not be a remake, there will not be a re-choice of summoner spells. The decision being that Cali Trolls had already seen his opponent's summoners, and summoners are blind picked in League of Legends. So no reactions allowed. Cali Trolls want different summoners. He will not get them. We are back into the game, the first of the weekend. Teammate, again, hoping to hold on to that 7th place spot. Team Liquid in control to get a playoff bye if they could win out.
Yeah, and we see, obviously, Teammate is going for the forced lane swap where they move and get deep wards to try and spot out the enemy. Dominate was expecting that. He did a great form swap to reset his auto attack, which is what you need to do if you want to get the 3rd hit on the ward. Whereas Teammate did not have anyone retreated since they wanted to do a full 5-man invade. And Team Liquid has the vision advantage early.
It's interesting, actually. Team Liquid only... Oh, no, they did get a couple of good wards down. Yeah, they have the vision advantage, right? They saw the invade. They came down. So they have one that watches the lane swap. They also have one that'll watch people go towards the Raptor camp. And they'll even dodge these trinkets for a little bit here. So Team Liquid will get to assign their top lane.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, Dominate! Well, he got pinged, but... He's like right on the edge of it, too.
Oh, Piglet's definitely going to
All
be
right,
seen.
well...
The thing with these wards is they will be able to tell you where they've walked by, but it doesn't give the team enough time to react.
Right.
It does seem like Team Liquid may have lost this guessing game a little bit. I'm not sure if they would have wanted the standard lanes. Kog'Maw, Janna, we'll see how they play it out.
I would expect it to be a better 2-on-2 for Teammate specifically.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, either way, it is going to be a lane swap game. Both top laners are duo jungling with their junglers. And Piglet misses the first CS of the game. Starting out cold.
Tilting.
Yeah, he's
Right off
tilted.
the bat.
Uh-oh, Nian did it too. Though they did Krugs on the way in, so that's actually forgivable. And it's going to be a pretty fast push here for the teammate. Yeah, looks like they're going to shove as hard as they can so that they can get back into the matchup here. Especially already recalled to start the way towards bot lane, it looks like.
Yeah, this is interesting because if Quas is going to teleport in, he generally needs 2 extra people there to support him, and he's getting collapsed on 4 people right now. I think this was a really ill-advised teleport by Quas because he can get 4-man Doe without any help right now.
And here comes the attempt. Who's going to pull aggro? Dodo's going to do it and walks backwards, gets rooted up. He might have to flash away from this one. Nope, walks away cleanly. Quas still focused. Cali Trolls is aggro. Cali Trolls jumps up and dodges it all. Porpoise flashes out. He will get killed, but it's still worth it for Teammate. A great first blood.
A 4-man dive should be executed for a clean kill, but Quas does a bit of an outplay right there. The turret aggro is swapped a little bit sloppily for Teammate. Porpoise couldn't quite get out of the turret aggro by the end of it. That's a strange thing. Normally you want someone on the very outside taking the first aggro and then just kind of sitting with it while the dive happens, but that was all mismanaged there by Teammate.
I feel like Dodo tanked as many as he could, but
Probably. We'll have to
way.
watch it again, but
Yeah.
if we've seen hundreds of turret
You're
guys
right,
in the
you're
past, and
absolutely
if it's
right.
4 men versus 1, and they're all level 2, the 4 should be able to kill without a death. Great play by Quas, obviously, to get a kill, and that's going to be a huge swing here, since Piglet all the while is farming, and they weren't necessarily punished for that 4v1 TP.
And actually, Piglet managed to create a freeze as well. So Calitrolls teleported back into the bot lane to 1v1 Quas. The duo of teammate are slowly and surely... Oops, yeah, that minion kind of screwed him up there, Piglet. But yeah, the duo lane now of teammate has to walk in slowly and get into that matchup. But it's going to give a pretty big golden XP lead to the Team Liquid AD carry.
Yeah, and Kog'Maw also scales very well off of levels. Him and Corki have actually fairly similar power curves, except the Kog'Maw is much stronger later. So once they hit the Trinity Force, they will both be very strong. Yeah. And now, really, Team 8 has no option but to just swap and meet at this point. No teleport advantage really built up.
Dota, though, spending some time making sure there are wards down to try to track out will dominate for the next minute. And maybe we can have Teammate play an aggressive game that can punish Piglet. Now, Teammate's duo lane are only missing the one summoner spell. It's just Nien's heal that he used to try to get one of his teammates out. So this actually should be a decent 2-on-2, especially with the items coming in for Nien. The longsword will definitely help him here.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's an 8 CS advantage. The gold difference between those 80 carries, because it was actually First Blood that did go to Nien, is in his favor. So
Yeah.
that's one advantage that they would look to push, even if the overall gold is very swayed. Half of that sway is actually coming from Phoenix manhandling Golden Glue a little bit in the mid lane.
Oh, yeah, it's plus 13.
And obviously dominates farm since Corpus took so much time diving and dying.
Oh, they can't quite get this on an special either, so Teammate not winning the trade they exactly wanted. Yeah, Teammate got First Blood and an assist. Team Liquid got a regular kill without assists, and Team Liquid are still massively ahead in gold actually for this stage of the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very well done by their laners and junglers to get this kind of a lead here.
And it also goes to show the investment that you undergo when you're doing a 4-man dive early on in the game, and why it has to be clean. Because especially if it's clean, then they can go and take other objectives afterwards, whether it be the turret or the dragon. They were able to get none of those things, and therefore they're staring this gold deficit.
And Dominate already kills away some wards as well, so how about a vision deficit? Oh wow, Calitrolls dodged the Quas W with Playful Trickster. Yeah, I think that was on accident, but it was still pretty cool. That's hard to react to in real time, so I'll give credit to Calitrolls. Quas, though, up 16 minions in this lane matchup. He was +3 when I first watched it, and that was after the death.
Yeah, so one of the things that we need to track, obviously, Freak, is with this Fizz needing to become a split push threat for Team 8 to fulfill their win conditions. Not necessarily on track. Not only is Calitrolls running the flash teleport, but he's also behind in CS.
Rough stuff then for the teammate. Squatters are getting farther and farther behind. 900 gold down now. That number keeps growing every time we look at it. About 7 minutes in, buffs are going to be respawning soon. Dominate tracked on his bottom side of the jungle. We are still in 5:13. The Runeglaive is not buffed in jungle clear speed just yet, but still a strong item. Nidalee still, of course, highly sought after. She's heading towards the bot lane to try to upset this matchup.
Yeah, obviously, there's very little coverage on that side. They've covered the river. And also, they did see Dominate right before he jumped towards his Grom, so Calitrolls has the right to be suspicious of a lane gank. Ooh. That extra longsword is really helping Team 8 in these trades.
Yeah. Yeah, and he added a ton of potions, and the extra combat stats definitely mattered. He's always getting one attack away from landing the stun. Team Liquid always respecting the Braum Q just enough to never get stunned out by concussive blows. But still, slinking away pretty well. +8 CS still for Piglet. He's got enough money for a Phage or a Sheen and more. So he goes for Sheen Ruby Crystal, yeah. Interesting. W auto attack becomes a really strong trade pattern, especially with a Janna on your team. I really do like going for Sheen builds when you have a buffing support.
Because it's basically getting the attack damage he would gain from Phage anyway when he gets shielded by Janna.
So yeah, definitely powerful stuff here. Also really fun with Nami.
Yeah.
But she's not in this game, so it's a random point. I just like talking about support sometimes. Team Liquid, 900 gold lead standings. Xpecial a little bit in danger. He was alone in the 1v2 against a pretty aggressive lane, but no gank came through. Corvus, I don't know if he was tracked in his jungler, or in his jungle, but he didn't go for any gank up there while it was 2v1.
Honestly, Team Liquid is very content with the way this early game went down, and they're seeming happy just to lane these out as much as possible. It's not like any of their lanes are getting particularly aggressive. Phoenix is able to out-CS Gold and Blue, but it doesn't seem like his harass pattern is particularly dangerous. Piglet and X Special have been sitting back at their turret, and I Will Dominate, aside from the one attempt at a lane gank, has been mainly farming, but it's paying dividends because Teammate has not been able to make aggressive plays.
Yeah.
Almost all of Team Liquid's wards have been defensive. They don't really care about offensive wards. And some of that can all happen because Porpoise was set behind early as the jungle Gragas, so the gank threats aren't nearly as potent, and therefore Team Liquid doesn't need to get deep wards for advanced warning, and they can just farm out.
Yeah, and even the lane gank you had mentioned from Dominate, I think it even might have just been a defensive positioning, where he was like, Quas wanted to recall, and the lane was pushing up, and he's like, in case Porpoise is here, I'll chill out.
Exactly.
Okay, no gank, cool, we can walk away and recall. It just feels like it's been entirely a defensive holding pattern here. Let the Kog'Maw scale up, let the Orianna scale up, let the lanes win, and Team Liquid now 1,200 gold up. It's just getting better and better and better from the laning phase. Plus 16 minions now for I Will Dominate.
We'll wait for Phoenix to hit his Athene, we'll wait for Piglet to hit his Trinity Force, and then Team Liquid's going to start going for things, because fights before that point, they're not necessarily needing to take those. The power will be very close in these teams, and Team Liquids know that they can outscale.
Ooh, nice little play right there. The Phoenix gonna have to try to walk forward. He does barely get stunned though. Chaos Storm doing plenty of damage, and Golden Blue did burn his ghost and walks away safely.
Interesting little trade there, and maybe a little bit of danger if Phoenix isn't careful here. Scouted out by Porpoise and not as many deep wards as they would like. He takes the long way round, but he might still be in danger of getting caught out. It could be a big flank. Phoenix so defensive.
I think Porpoise has revealed himself there. They put a lot of pings down there. Here we go with Calitrol as well. Shark is up, but Dominate camping with the heals is going to keep Phoenix afloat here. Nice try by Teammate, but not going to happen.
One of the nice things about having Nidalee in your own jungle, instead of a gank, you can just go and heal your own lane and be like, all right, man, I helped you. What more do you want from me?
Maybe get an assist if they get a kill in the next 10 minutes. Or 10 seconds, rather. All right, back to farming to go. Porpoise, though, down 21 CS, has not revealed himself really. Oh, hold on, there's the ulti up onto it. Quickly, they really want this kill. They will land the stun. A lot of damage down. Oh, what a great ulti by Janna. Dodo stuck under the turret, but the exhaust coming in. The TP's now to keep the fight afloat here, and Dodo forced to flash away. Nien rooted up. I believe he might have Valkyrie, but here comes Calitrol as well. Dodo, one hit from dead, forced to walk away. Nien still on the run. The flash ulti! Oh, man, Quas picks up one. He might want the second. Can he get it? He cannot quite, but he jumps to Calitrol to get away. Porpoise gets to defend, but still a great kill for Team Liquid.
Beautiful clutch flash there by Quas. Both top laners arriving at pretty much the exact same instance. It's Team Liquid capitalizing on the teammate aggression. That's how they picked up both of those kills. Have been attempted kills, and the turrets have honestly assisted them out pretty much because teammate is going over aggressive and unable to convert kills in these scenarios.
Yeah.
Meaning Team Liquid can't go for this dragon. Porpoise has Summoner up, so he could absolutely attempt to steal.
Well, let's see if he goes for it.
You body slam in, smite, and then flash out, but he doesn't even try.
Nah, he had about an 1/8 of a second window there. Dominate. The smite Q is going to get it down to 50 for too little to react to. And even in that fight, Piglet still has his summoner still up. So that fight honestly wasn't even all that close to killing off the Team Liquid AD carry.
Now take a look at this one more time. Dodo goes all in on Piglet, really wanted to proc that stun that they haven't been able to proc so far. In doing so, he puts himself into alt range from the Janna. It gives him turret, and that immediately puts him on the defensive. Because the teleports are matched, X Special, beautiful timing on his flash right there, and as soon as Quas recognizes he has enough charge on his ultimate from getting hit, he pops it for the ult, and pixels away from picking up the double kill as well.
Yeah, Dodo overextending as well. He kept wanting to stay in range in case maybe I can Q one more time. Maybe I can do something else, just gets picked up by the Quas ulti. So unfortunate misplays there. We're at a 2,300 gold lead now. Team Liquid off of 1 kill, went up 1,000. Just the farm continuing to go better and better. 24 plus for Quas here. 25, 25, and 12. Just every lane winning by so terribly much. Especially doesn't even have a relic shield and is out CSing Dodo. Like, very rarely do you see all 5 members winning by this much, but Team Liquid just outclassing Team 8 right now.
Yeah, and something that is actually a little bit surprising in this game is that Team Liquid's already gone for 4 sweepers already.
Yeah.
No one has gone for the upgraded yellow trinket, which could be for a number of reasons. Either they are not fearing Porpoise's ganks whatsoever and don't need any wards, or they're just planning on making an aggressive push, need to clear out the vision, Therefore, they can make aggressive plays with that clear vision. 4 sweepers this early is actually very uncommon, especially with no warding totems whatsoever on the team.
It really is. They're relying on buying boards. Oh, hold on, though. Phoenix doing a lot of damage to Golden Glue. Can't quite land the last little bit of burst, and Ghost once again keeps Golden Glue alive. Yeah, they're relying on double. Oh, hold on. Xpecial shields himself, barely survives, though. Can't quite get him stunned.
Put on his dancing shoes. Piglet trying to turn it around a bit. This is real dangerous.
This could be the
Liquid.
attempt. Oh, no! Piglet just goes down. He didn't respect the damage up whatsoever. The Janus shield, I actually believe, came out a little bit late. It looked like it shielded his corpse.
Yeah, and Piglet had flashed right before then as well. So
He burned summoners.
a really poor trade there by Team Liquid, thinking they're at the power spike. Exactly the same items between 80 carries. And Corky Braum outdueling right there, even though Team Liquid felt like they would have had an edge. So nice outplay there by Nien and Dodo, and honestly an uncharacteristic death from Piglet. Piglet's the lowest deaths of any 80 carry in the LCS, so for him to die in lane without gank assistance is incredibly uncommon.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's a little bit rough right here, and even worse for him is Nien's the one still getting all these kills. So you got the first blood, he got the kill right there, and so whether you're farming well or not, Piglet, you're against a Trinity Force Corki before 15 minutes. You can never stay one-on-one in this lane anymore, otherwise you Valkyrie forward and just pick up the kill as Corki. So he's going to require a bit of babysitting, typically. And that could be even more of a risk for Team Liquid, as Xpecial might have to stay bot lane just to keep his 80 carry alive.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting about watching Team 8 later into the split, as Nien has become more and more acclimated to the shot calling role, is almost every decision that is made by Team 8 is to the benefit of Nien. Even from the very early game in this matchup, where we think one of the win conditions is Cali Trolls versus Quas, they're going for the 4-man dive, and Nien is picking up first blood to give him that slight edge.
Right.
Games last week, Nien has 100 more CS than everyone else on his team because teammate is grouping early and everyone is giving the CS to him.
Yep.
This is another one of these situations. Obviously, this game, he more created his own advantage there because they 2v2 destroyed. They just 2v2 killed Piglet and Xpecial. But expect this farm number from Nien to accelerate the later we get into the game, because when they start grouping, it's probably the shot calling 80 carry that's going to be getting the farm.
Darn right. I know all too well how that one goes. It's so fun to have all the gold in your team, and that's going to be probably the playstyle for Nien here. We'll see how he adapts over the years, but right now this is probably the way that teammate is playing. 2,400 gold lead, though, still Team Liquid up sizably in the early game. The first dragon was already theirs, and we're a minute and a half from the second one here. Team Liquid, though, still honestly playing a pretty slow game. All of their kills have been off of teammate being aggressive and Team Liquid just reacting.
Yeah.
And they're happy to keep reacting.
And specifically right now, Team Liquid does need to be on the defensive, maybe even for the next dragon, unless they get an amazing prep for it. Because if they walk into that fight, given or not their 2,000 gold lead, with a Trinity Force Corki versus their non-Trinity Force Kog'Maw, if they play things wrong, they could give their lead right back. But if they just sacrifice a dragon, maintain their farm advantages in mid, jungle, and top lane, and just wait for Piglet to hit his Trinity Force, they're going to be completely fine.
Yeah, it looks honestly pretty solid for Team Liquid right here. Also worth pointing out, Dominate has taken a page from Move's book, Sightstone Nidalee.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen anyone play that up until this split here, and looks like everyone's learning from the master himself.
Feels like they kind of accepted their lack of vision there and are making things to remedy that. Quas changed his trinket into an upgraded warding totem, and Dominate picked up a Sightstone. So now we should see an adequate amount of wards coming down from Team Liquid.
Interesting that Quas traded back and forth. Yeah, we normally do see that warding totem for the top laner. Dominate going to ward behind Dragon, wants that prepped, but Dodo is already warded inside the Dragon Pit itself, so steal some knowledge for teammate, regardless. Kog'Maw has already recalled for his Trinity Force. Teammate did not push for a Dragon while he was in base. They didn't do anything at all. In fact, they're recalling Nien late. Yeah. And he's going to be off the map when there's an attempt for Dragon, potentially.
Teammate completely missing their power spike opportunity right there.
Yeah.
That was their window to try and make it back into the game, and now they're going to need either a Team Liquid mistake or an outplay in order to do this. Maybe now, if they can get Phoenix to recall, and then go for Dragon, but it's going to be tricky because Dominate can just heal him up a little bit, and they're going to have an ultimate discrepancy in those mid laners.
That's true.
Yeah, now it's actually Team Liquid that can go for the Dragon, because, hey, Victor just used ult, or he still has hers.
And Golden Glue can't heal himself. He had a Sork shoes, but that might not matter at all. Look how fast this thing's going down. Dominate gets it for himself. Nicely done. Team Liquid, 2 Dragons in a row, no contest. And teammate continuing the trend of really not playing around the objective respawns very well.
Yeah, it's true. Surprisingly, some of the more team-oriented things are not falling in the favor of teammate. It was one of their strengths when they first arrived in the LCS, and everyone thought their teamwork was going to have to overcome some of their individual play. But this game, it's actually some of their individual play has been strong, like the 2v2 kill by Dodo, but the team calls have been all.
Well, unfortunate stuff here then as Team Liquid continue to bleed out of this game. 2,600 gold lead here. It's growing at a slower pace for what that's worth. The top laner is still staying at about that plus-minus 20. Jungler still pretty far apart, and the slow churn of Dragons coming in, a good thing for Team Liquid here. Now, as you had mentioned, the Triforce being done for Kog'Maw does open up some possibilities here. Phoenix, though, not quite on his next item. We'll see what that ends up being, but at some point, I feel like Team Liquid will actually go for a turret kill.
Yeah, Team Liquid, when they've been winning games lately, has actually been able to kind of turn it on at any point and then explode the game once they feel like they've reached their power spike. As an example, when they crushed Enemy last week, I don't have the exact numbers, but these are going to be very close. They had something like a 1,000 or 2,000 gold lead by 10 minutes, but then between the 10-minute mark and the 25-minute mark, they extended it by about 1,000 gold a minute.
Oh, jeez.
And they had about a 15,000 gold lead by the end of it because they just crushed pretty much every team fight and forced them frequently as soon as they had that big advantage. And Team Liquid was slowly growing their small advantage into a big advantage, but if this is the Team Liquid that wants to be the best team in North America and what they're probably capable of, as soon as they feel like they have a big advantage, it might just explode in the game.
I think that could definitely happen. We could see the items coming through pretty soon. The Abyssal Scepter, not far away from I Will Dominate. The Frozen Heart, probably not far from Quas either. And soon the Death Cap or something will come in for Phoenix. And I think it's like one more item comes through and then everything kind of explodes for these guys. Dominate has been farming up an absolute storm. He's got more gold than either Piglet or Quas on his team. He's just farming up massively. He's only barely behind Phoenix here, who's been crushing it.
Yeah.
230 CS at 20 minutes.
We mention it fairly frequently, but it's worth echoing here. Jungle CS is very misleading as far as the strength of that player. Again, they trade ultimates for a Ghost. That's the 3rd time we've seen that interaction.
Same trade over and over. Going Abyssal to win these trades better.
Phoenix always keeping both summoner spells.
Yeah.
Throughout this. But mainly, the jungle CS is misleading because the jungle camps are worth more, and the bonus gold you get from the jungle item. Killing Gromp gives the jungler about 100 gold, but only counts as 1 CS. Whereas you kill 4 minions, 17 gold for that one, 17 gold for the next one. Sometimes you're killing 5 or 6 things before you're reaching the same gold the jungler can get from a Gromp.
Alright, well, finally the first turret comes down. Phoenix slowly working that down. Golden Glue missing the ulti and the Ghost was enough for the push in. Dominate showing up, and it's even conveniently timed with a blue buff respawning. So Team Liquid maybe starting to rev their engines a little bit, shift it past first gear, and hit the gas just a little bit here.
Yeah,
Daily Troll swapped him in.
They're turning on their turret killing powers, perhaps. 2 turrets down.
Wow, yeah, Calitroll just leaves top lane open, of course, with the Nidalee behind him off the blue buff kill. He has to hide away, but mid lane answered back. Both these guys have been able to get some decent turret damage down.
Real danger in this bottom lane, though, if they get collapsed on.
It looks like that's going to be the attempt here. Dodo going to look for a slow. Piglet does dodge successfully, but however, 3 other members are coming around. How fast can they leave? Piglet still staying for CS.
It would be a 5-man dive if they decided to do so, but they're backing off. Bad memories from what happened last time. Quas could have teleported in, and Orianna could have came late, but even then it would have been a 3v5 dive. That's actually one of those plays that you could see working.
I think that could have worked, honestly, Jat.
Yeah, no. Did they not have ultimate? They didn't have ultimate from Victor, which hurt them a little bit, but they had everything else.
Yeah, I think that was a successful dive in the making right
Probably.
there. Well, unfortunate miss there by teammate, and they're allowing Team Liquid to get away with a significant lead, 4,500 gold. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger without getting any champion kills. It's just a matter of farm. Really succeeding here for Team Liquid. Nian getting chunked out. Dodo forced a shield to keep him alive. Down to 2/3 himself, and now bot lane can be turned on. It's Dominate now that he's felt like he's farmed enough with the Abyssal Scepter. Walk into a lane, knock a turret down.
Farms up, Runeblade plus 1 AP item. Now he's just going around, giving people attack speed, and helping to kill turrets. That's the second one he's been able to rotate down for, and now we'll see Team Liquid start taking control of this game. They're very controlled here, but you can see their gold lead is growing more rapidly now.
Yep, 5.2. It didn't take long at all to get there, Jat. See if he can hit that 1 per minute. Try to track it.
I forget what our starting point was. So it's
I don't either.
hard to track.
I'm going to say gold lead plus 20 minutes. 1,000 gold.
Sure. 1,000
right.
gold per minute. That's their break.
Great. Plus 20. Okay, here we go.
They make one mistake and they're done for.
One teammate. Ah. Well, let's see what happens here. Quas, though, already knocked his top lane turret down. He's got not much else to push for. Dragon's coming up in 30. He's got teleport, so that's easy. Cali Trolls, Hexdrinker, and the Triforce were to begin. I'm actually surprised it wasn't Wit's End instead of Hexdrinker.
Yeah, he built the Hexdrinker so early on. I think he was trying to use it as a mechanism for not falling too far behind the Maokai, because I think he actually was losing trades. That's why the Maokai was able to kill the turret early on. So Quas getting that early advantage on Cali Trolls and then pushing it pretty hard. And yeah, mainly it's item breakpoints coming through right now. Death Cap being completed is massive.
Close to Blade of the Rune King as well from Piglet. He's 600 gold shy, roughly. But it's not going to happen in time for this Dragon to respawn. Number 3 on the table. Team Liquid happy to play the laning phase into Dragons, into laning phase into Dragons. And this time around, Teammate actually do want to contest, but of course they've given up so much gold before this point. It's actually a fairly difficult battle to be a part of. Piglet trying to poke, not nearly the same as Illusion's Cosmo.
Yeah. At the time, Teammate is maybe trying to posture mid lane a little bit, but they'd have to get all the way to the interior turret, and they need a pick. So basically, Porpoise would have to body slam Flash right onto a squishy target and make it to a point where he can't be disengaged by the Janna. Otherwise, they're going to be kind of in danger to this Nidalee pull.
So yeah, Dom and Piglet trying to make that happen. A little bit of ward control from Teammate. They still have 1 ward away, but there's still another one they're walking through right now. No pink wards in either team's inventories. And only 1 sweeper off cooldown, that's Phoenix's. Teammate once again go back to mid, but good luck push against Orianna. Her wave clear's too good. The Janna can help as well, and you may deny a CS or 2, but you're not really making progress here.
Yeah, they get 1 auto attack on the turret. Meanwhile, Piglet cleared the wave in the bottom side, and it's actually a giant one careening toward the tower.
It's a lot of CS missed. Careening?
Careening? Is that a word?
I want to say yes. Someone will yell at yes or no, and then we'll figure it out.
To check my lexicon later.
Lexicon.
It's another word for thesaurus.
Good.
That one I'm sure of.
I'm glad you chose a synonym for thesaurus. It makes it very thematic.
Yeah, Team Liquid is in an extended standoff right now, but because they've started the Dragon, it shows that they're being a little bit impatient, but it's required. They're up 6,000 gold. This could be a steal opportunity, probably resulting in a fight, but with Gragas and John on either side, either team can choose to disengage.
Dragon hops back to the middle of the pit. Still getting chunked down, though. Dominate is close to being able to assassinate it right here. He's going to try. Here comes Cougar form. Attempted steal. Oh, man. Dom misses the smite, and Niam with a rocket managed to pick up Dragon number 1. Big standoff victory for Team 8.
Yeah, and I think that was a missed opportunity for Team Liquid. Quas had recalled and picked up home guard boots during that Dragon standoff, and I think he could have pulled off a flank engage.
Yeah.
Of some kind. Looking for an exact ward. They didn't have a perfect ward for him to teleport in on.
The mid lane was close.
Yeah, I feel like that should have been a play by Team Liquid since they had such a big gold lead. Now their Dragon timer is just kind of delayed, and they 50-50'd it for the most part.
Yeah. You expect it to be easy with Nidalee, but just the spikes came through at the wrong time. I don't think she Q'd or smited, so just it all got bursted all at once. And here we go. Still this big gold lead, 38 to 44,000. The 6K mark still about the same, so Team Liquid's fallen behind their own metric. It stopped growing.
Yeah, let's take a look at this steal once again.
Okay, so Porpoise smited.
980 to 0.
Yeah, his Q, a Corky Rocket, and his smite.
Really nicely timed.
Yeah, honestly. We've learned some of the same lexicon, chat.
Truthfully, it was hard.
Indeed, it was difficult.
Yep.
All right, well, Teammate showing a few signs of life here. The slow, methodical game of Team Liquid. It's not objectively wrong. They've got a Kog'Maw, they've got a Nidalee. They'll scale just fine in the late game. Their only single tank in Maokai could definitely use some more items to make sure he can't die in a team fight. But the advantage isn't going anywhere. Tier 2 turret's much harder to kill, and Dragon now far away, and slowly but surely, teammate are finding things to do in the end. Get sent top lane on the split push. There's no dragon to fight for. Why even be there? So, top side he goes. Turret goes down. Team Liquid not answering.
Oh dear. There's a collapse happening.
Oh, good luck in the end. Does some decent damage to Dominate. Flash the way. He's one hit from getting killed. Goes down. Pela gets him. Does really take down Dominate, but
Burned both summoners too. It feels like Ian was pretty much dead to right. Should have just kept his summoner spells
yeah, I think so. Accept your fate.
during that. One thing I will say, I want to touch on Quas's Maokai build.
Okay.
Because this is a patch where Righteous Glory has been nerfed, and Rod of Aegis has been changed a little bit. Because for a long time, pretty much every solo lane Maokai build consisted of a catalyst item of some kind.
Yeah.
But we've been seeing this a little bit more if people don't want to go for the immediate Righteous Glory but still want to just be a full tank Maokai. They just do the Frozen Heart Spirit Visage. It's a bit of mana, it's not as much, so he can't hold his ultimate on for an extremely long amount of time.
Right.
But you still become incredibly tanky very early. I'm wondering if this is going to become the de facto Maokai build, or if we're even going to see a rotation back to Rod of Ages at some point. If people are actually not happy about Righteous Glory anymore after the nerfs.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't think Ro is all that good with the significant loss of health. I don't think it works as easily for the big tanks.
It's also more AP heavy.
Yeah,
than it used to be.
Which isn't bad. Like, dealing damage is a nice thing, but he's a soul tank. I wouldn't see it working in this game at least. It's also worth pointing out, Quas is like up against pretty much a 5x magic damage team and did still go Frozen Heart. I know people criticized Dyrus for that build where he got too much armor against a magic heavy team, but...
Well, here's the difference.
Okay.
Dyrus, at like 40 minutes, was sitting on sub 100 magic resist.
It's a fair point.
Even though Quas has a Frozen Heart, he's still at 185, 205 when he's in the Aegis Orb.
That's fair.
So he's got double the MR that Dyrus has. Like, there's a difference between going Frozen Heart Tabby and like a Glate and
like a Randuin's.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Compared to Mercury Tread's double Spectre's Cal build.
That's true.
And obviously he has like no true health item, but he's getting that through his MR items. So it's a super tanky build for Quas. He's basically just maximizing his tank stats as much as he can, and he will be reducing damage from the Fizz with the Frozen Heart.
Yeah, he has 660 health from the various items in his inventory, so it can't be too bad. And he's even got shields, right? Like, you don't need to buy as much health when you've got pseudo health from Nidalee, Orianna, Janna, and then Janna again, and then Kog'Maw. So
the resists are the most important thing.
And he's got them.
Speaking of which, this might be a time to explain the concept of effective health.
Ah, yeah.
Because it almost multiplies with shields and heals. Although Calitrolls is going for the turret. I want to make sure I have a window to explain this, but there's maybe a fight brewing with Gragas in the mid lane.
This is full attack Fizz, by the way. He's going Ruin King third. He is not going to be tanky in this one.
Yeah, so every point of armor or magic resist you have makes 1% more of damage it will take to kill you. So if someone has 100 armor, it takes 200 damage to do 100 damage.
Yeah.
If they have 200 armor, it's another 100 damage to do that amount of damage.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're shielding someone who has 300 magic resist, if it's a 200 point shield, it's I power creep my numbers.
It'll take 800 damage to get through a 200 point shield.
Because of the 300 MR.
Yes.
Right? So therefore, building resistances with shields and heals is doubly effective and more efficient than just building health. Therefore, that's why Quas's very resist-heavy build is nearly impossible to kill with this shield team from Team Liquid.
Yeah, and honestly, these aren't exactly the highest DPS champions in the game. Again, it's full attack Fizz, so it'll help a little bit, but sustained damage, not exactly the name of the game for Corki here. Certainly not the name of the game for Gragas, so good luck getting through the tank, who's going for his Banshee's Veil next. Nice, heavy MR stacking for him. And of course, Special did rush Locket, and I think we expect to see Talisman of Ascension before too terribly long, as we got the Nomad's Medallion. We are not yet at Zeke's Harbinger patch, although that'd be nice to see on Kog'Maw. Maybe we get to see the Ardent Sensor, but that's a pipe dream and much later on in the build regardless. Team Liquid getting ready for Dragon number 4 on the map, but keep in mind Baron is, of course, also on the table, so big map movements are going to be important here. In the end, going to go for the solo.
This is
no one's around.
Over-prioritization of Baron by Team Liquid, and they're taking their sweet time with this scaling game that they're playing.
Yeah, this does feel a little bit sloppy, though. Like, when you have a 6,000 gold lead, how do you let people take dragons from you?
It is. That was a very sloppy move. As was not forcing a teleport play.
Flash useful. Actually, to be fair with how badly...
Well, so they just saw Nian bottom lane, and they just burned Flash from the top laner.
Yeah.
Plus, they cleared out the vision on the Baron.
Yeah, nice. So, Team Liquid playing the long con, saying go ahead and take Dragon, but the Porky shouldn't have been bot lane here. This is going to be a Baron picked up cleanly and easily for Team Liquid. 33.5 minutes in, that is theirs. And they're shipping in a second gear.
Nian, it's not what you do.
Yeah, you can't leave your non-teleport champions bot lane.
Yeah,
that had to go to Cali Trolls.
Especially the AD carry. It's something that Double Lift used to be criticized for all the time, was farming a lane bottom wave while the team could threaten Baron. That's exactly what just happened from Team Liquid. Making up for giving away the Dragon, obviously, as soon as it was shown Nian bottom lane. Easy Baron call for Team Liquid. Now they can push.
And they're going to keep happening. And shields on a Piglet, easy to do. Dominate there with the attack speed as well. There you go. Tier 2 mid lane is gone. Team Liquid not showing signs of stopping just yet. They've got just enough mana to keep fighting. And the next wave comes in soon, though Cali Trolls is still split pushing. Quas does not have TP and Cali does, so a mismatch there means Quas has to stay mid.
Yeah, it also means that Team Liquid will want to dive in on this wave. If the pushing is still fostered by Cali Trolls, they're doing as much damage as they can right here. Porpoise chugged out.
Man, Piglet doing a great job of just over on the wings. Dodo's shield actually didn't block really any of the damage there. It came up, but no one was hitting the turret just yet.
And Cali Trolls actually recalled back instead of waiting for a dive to happen and TPing in to try and counter. So any possible advantage the teammate could have gained on that is lost now.
Yeah, honestly, again, it's weird choice made by Team 8 here, where it just doesn't seem like they're making the right ones in the macro game. A lot of the time here, Team Liquid can't make Siege number 2 happen. No cannon mid in this wave, and they don't really commit for it. No one recalled just yet, but still playing defensively. There are still some flank wards up as well. You can see 2 pinks in the river, and 1 by the blue buff, so there's still home guard TPs available for the teammate top laner, if he buys home guard, that is. Back he goes up to this side of the map. Cali Troll's going to get some more farm, and maybe make up that level gap he has underneath Quas.
Oh, Blade of the Ruined King is going full offensive Fizz, so that's really not a team fighting build whatsoever. He's really trying to push that split push advantage, which is again surprising because he could have opened some of the gates if he would have pushed on the side wave right there.
That'd be a dead turret.
Could have easily gotten a dead turret, but instead it is not a dead turret. It is an alive turret.
It is an alive. It might be limping a little bit. It might have gotten injured, but it is alive. The shield is on. It'll live to fight another day. It goes to fight Dominate. Good Zhonya's pop here. Quas gonna root up Cali Trolls, and no further chase gonna happen here. Forces the Zhonya's, walks away. So Golden Blue has managed to actually farm pretty well for himself. Nian has managed to not tax his mid laner.
Yeah. Not quite what we expected. We thought Nian would be taking more farm.
Yeah.
But just based on the scaling, it is smarter to give it to Golden Glue. Also, Golden Glue can clear the wave so much faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
One Death Ray clears the whole wave.
That's why I hate having like Luxes on my team. They kill the minions before I can kill them.
Yeah,
How dare they? It's my fun. I deserve it.
All right, again, we have the split push game going on right now.
Yeah.
Cali Trolls push a mid lane. Team Liquid grouping up bottom with a cannon minion. No Baron buff, so the wave can be cleared by Victor, but it's a
it'll
very
die in 2 seconds.
little baby turret.
Yeah, and right away, these guys realize they have to give this one up.
Here's where you may expect Team Liquid to go back because they won't have a wave.
They're not
wave will
gonna
be cleared
yet.
very quickly. So it's going to be a turret trade.
They're going to cut off the wave mid? No, not even that. They're just walking back up to see if they can catch out Cali Trolls himself. So a trade of equal value turrets here. And Cali now realizes, I'm in a bad spot. I'm going to recall on this brush. Nice instincts by Piglet. He's going to get caught out. Here comes the big chase. How far away can Cali Trolls get? That's a base gate.
They're going to get him. But the question will be how... I don't think he's even going to be distracting enough.
What? Q a minion? Oh, he has no mana. He can't Q a minion.
And
Assist for Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
Dominate needs to heal someone. Dominate heal someone. Get the assist. Man, fantasy point earners of Dominate, which includes me, by the way, gonna be really sad about this game.
I'm sorry, Freak. Especially about the assist.
I don't have him on my roster.
Captain Boots.
Oh, nice.
Speed.
Yeah, so you run real fast running at Janna. That's actually really nice, though. Special can make sure that his team can kite back very easily. If she stays in the back line, you're going to get like 15% or so bonus move speed when retreating from a team fight. That'll be nice. Team Liquid back on the aggression. Cali Troll's dead for 16 seconds. Here comes the engage already. Okay, just going to glue, flashes out, But the battle continues. Turret will fall. And here comes the rest of that fight. 5v4 still. Nian has nowhere to go. Kill picked up. And the dive on in, a kill for Dominate as well. Zonia's popped, turret's there, special. Forced a flash away from the turret, but that's okay because Team Liquid in a great spot here.
Using his Monsoon, recognizing that it cannot overpower a Nexus laser. But that's a 10,000 gold lead. 2 people dead. Calitrolls is back up. We'll see if Team Liquid can close it. It's going to be a little bit longer probably, but this game is quite in hand for Team Liquid.
Oh, absolutely it is. There's only 1 minute left to tank it up, but Quas happened to knock the other turret in his face.
Whoa, Quas.
Shark's going to miss there from Calitrolls. Quas maybe a bit overextended. Calitrolls goes in. He only does so much damage, though, forced to jump away. Another turret goes down, and Team Liquid still staying in the base. The antidote to respawn, this should be Team Liquid walking away.
Yeah, Quas the Omega tank right now. Banshee's Veil completed. Ori shield, Janus shield, Nidalee heals. A lot of stuff to keep him alive. See if they can actually take this dragon safely, because this would be a potential fight if Team 8 could just barrel in very quickly. Team Liquid should be low from that previous engagement. Very unlikely, though.
We'll see if they can get that to happen. Oh, almost. He was nearly in range. Porpoise could have, I believe, actually smited that one if he had seen it in time. Quas jumped on, though, nowhere to go. Roots up, goes down. A big shockwave, though. Phoenix cannot quite kill in the end. Needed a Nash's Tooth for that one. And Phoenix now caught out pretty badly. Monsoon is still down. That means the chase is good, and a couple kills do get picked up. A great body slam. Also catches it special. That's a big fight. Baron's up in 35 seconds. They'll have enough time to take that one down before Team Liquid respawns.
I mean, that's exactly the danger the Team Liquid was undergoing when they go for that dragon so late, is if they don't retreat properly, then they're going to fall. Quas took the high road, whereas Team Liquid retreated farther towards the bottom lane, and they ended up getting themselves split up. Thought maybe they could win the fight because of their gold lead. Couldn't quite do so. Therefore, they suffer 3 casualties instead of just 1. But with the way the respawn timers are and how low Team 8 also got from that fight, I don't think the Baron is a realistic.
They're home guarding over, though. Looks like they're really trying, but maybe they didn't. Yeah, looks like you're right. It's not going to happen there. I really would have liked to see the risky Baron rush call, but Dominate, of course, is alive with Smite, and Quas had teleport, so it looks like it will be the slower play. Although Team 8 are still heading this direction. I mean, it's 10 seconds on Orianna and 5 on the Janna. I think they're clearing the waves and going for it.
Actually, this is... They made
TP.
it. You're right. It is the home guard move. Kali can TP. This is the Baron move. It's just a Nidalee and a Maokai and soon to be a Kog'Maw.
What? But they missed like every possible engage tool.
That. He also had Banshee's Veil to block things, but now it's Piglet free hitting with the attack speed. It's a 3v5!
Really low health. Thodos nearly dead. Porpoise about to get chunked down. Also, Quas is way too tanky to go down, and the reinforcements have arrived. Janna's here. Nian cannot outfight Quas, and that's 3 kills picked up in an outright 4v5. Ooh! Nice kill by Glodulu, knocks down Dominate, but this is way too much done. It's a 4-for-1. Teammate opted into the fight. They couldn't get the picks they wanted. Team Liquid could close the game out.
Yeah, Piglet and Quas are strong in this match. And that was evident right there. The hyper tank build coming out with Quas. He built his 3rd Spectre's Cowl on top of his Banshee's Veil and his Spirit Visage.
Doesn't even make anything.
Untouchable. It makes him unkillable.
Yes,
in
it
this
does.
game.
That's going to be the game. 4, 2, and 5. Ironically, the most deaths in the game, but Super Tank Quas had an absolutely amazing game for himself. It took him a while, a 42-minute game, but Team Liquid now are guaranteed to at least be in the... Actually, no, they're not guaranteed yet. I take it back. But they're right now in a spot to hold on to that 2nd place spot.
Things are going well. 12 and 5. Last split, 12 and 6 bought you a bye, or at least a tiebreaker to do so. So they are on pace to have quite a strong split. Such an improvement for them from spring to summer regular season-wise already.
Yeah.
If you remember, actually, last split, they played teammate in a tiebreaker to even make it into the playoffs.
That's right.
So these teams have definitely gone in different directions since that time. Teammate, an unfortunate loss. Would have been nice to pick up a win here. Still just a 1-win edge on Cloud9.
Yeah.
For that 7th place safety zone.
Right, and the way the schedule is, the way the expectation of the games go, I don't think many people were surprised that Team Liquid won this one. Teammate are still, as you mentioned, on pace to tie-break Cloud9. C9 has 1 expected win over TDK. These guys both have an expected loss as well, and you expect the 7th place match to happen, and Teammate, of course, have to keep that in mind. They have another game tomorrow against Counterlogic Gaming. That might preempt it, right? They just need 1 good win over the next 3 games. Maybe they beat Team Liquid. Okay, no. Maybe they beat CLG. Maybe they beat C9 if the tiebreaker happens. All opportunities. And as far as Teammate is concerned, just to talk to them a little bit more here, They were faced, of course, with some big roster changes throughout the year. Slushy chose to take some time off from the team for personal reasons. Golden Glue stepped in, and honestly, I think Golden Glue has been acclimating rather well. He was 3-1-0 this game. He held up against one of the best mid laners in the league of Phoenix, and it was pretty solid for him. But, of course, a great win for Team Liquid. For now, we're going to send it down to Riv, who's joined by I Will Dominate.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined by the victorious Dominate, coming out so strong now, 12-5. You guys are tied for first place. What is the intensity that you guys have been bringing into these last few weeks? Has anything changed for the team, or are you just looking for that first place?
We've started preparing for playoffs starting this week. So we started preparing multiple team comps that we're not going to necessarily show in these last couple games, but we're starting to practice towards playoffs and round out champion pools that are solid so that we have multiple different strategies that we can bring out in best of fives and stuff like that. So I guess the luxury of being towards the top of the standings is you're able to, go for that playoff practice during the season, where normally you kind of have to, the position we're normally in is we're barely getting into the playoffs, so we have to give it our all, and then they know what we're going to play when we get to playoffs. So I think that our practice has been going pretty well, and we've been pretty focused about practice, and I think that that's what we're going to use going forward into playoffs.
And how do you guys feel? How does Liquid feel they're going to fare in that best of 5 matchup? We did see a few back and forth in this game today that you guys kind of struggled to keep continuing to get the lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this game was particularly slow for us. We had a comp that really outscaled, so we knew we won late game, and we didn't really go for any risky plays. I barely ganked. I pretty much just tried to follow Porpoise around, put wards down, and the really oppressive thing about Nidalee is she can just walk in your jungle, and no jungler can 1v1 her. Yeah. So we kind of just used the advantages that we had, and we didn't really have to make any big plays to win the game. But I definitely want to clean up some of the small things. We didn't necessarily play this exact comp before, so we didn't know how to necessarily 4v4 around the dragon without a tank there and stuff like that. So I think we just have to clean that up and just practice a little bit harder, and then we'll be able to play this comp just like any other.
Awesome. Dominate, final question. You guys are playing a Wounded Impulse tomorrow. What are you thinking about that team, Gate and specific in the mid lane? What are your thoughts?
Gate's actually been impressing me a lot in solo queue recently, so I think that he'll probably show up pretty big. I always viewed him more as a LAN type player. When he gets on the stage, I feel like he plays well. On Final 5, he was the real carry point of that team. So I don't think it will be a huge downgrade. I don't think they're just dropping to somebody who can't stack up. I predict that he'll play well, and the team will kind of feel the same. So it's really going to be up to us to play a really solid game and play cleaner than we did today.
All right, Dominate, thanks for the time. Congratulations on the win. Best of luck in your matchup tomorrow. Now we're going to throw it to the analyst desk to break that down some more.
Thank you, Riv. And gentlemen, I kind of want to look at this game and how it affects both of these teams moving forward into the playoffs, into relegation, things like that. Team 8, with that loss, kind of keeps the hopes for C9 alive in terms of having a tiebreaker for that 7th place, given the fact that C9 plays TDK later today. Now, with this game, though, Team 8, they got behind pretty decently early, and that's got to be a worry against a Cloud9 team that has had some very fast games.
The 2 fastest games all split, actually, when they get an early lead. So that's very scary. That tower dive that they pulled off 4 versus 1 and were unable to execute on definitely set them really far behind. And as Dominate said, they had the outscaling comp. So if you get the lead that early, all you have to do is sit on it. They outfarmed in almost every single lane. And like you said, it was a pretty slow and easy game for them to execute. And then the way that it ended as well, there are some scary things for Team 8 here. The timing on that Baron, they started it a bit late, and then obviously it did not go well after Quash teleported in.
There's also some scary things for Team Liquid because they played to their win condition, and then at the very end, they got caught out and they took a fight where if they were actually even in gold, it wouldn't have gone their way, even if a little gap closed in terms of gold.
Piglet also got killed in the 2 versus 2, especially when Piglet lost that heads up, so that's another thing to worry about a little bit.
Good to see Dominate recognize some of those things and saying that, overall, we have a solid strategy. We're even working on new strategies. It's cleaning up those mechanical mistakes, those positioning, the choice to make a team fight where they maybe shouldn't have. So cleaning up their game is going to be a big thing for them. But with that win, they're only a half game back from Gravity, which puts them in a pretty great position when they're looking towards that first round bye.
And when I'm looking at Team Liquid in the past, every time they made playoffs, they got reverse swept, right? But who are they reverse swept by? It's usually Cloud9. Cloud9's not going to be in the playoffs. So who's going to stop Team Liquid from going into the finals and coming up if they do get that first round bye? Even if they don't, this is a Team Liquid that's having more time to focus on champion pools, round them out, prepare for the best of fives, instead of preparing for getting into playoffs.
It's not going to be Xiao again. He's not playing anymore.
Well, that's the thing. They have to be confident going into tomorrow against an Impulse, roster that is being swapped around and hasn't had much practice time. All right, well, we'll see if they can do that. Up next, we've got Team Dignitas taking on CLG. Keep it tuned right here. The North American LCS continues after this.
It is a battle for playoff seeding and a battle to keep yourself in the LCS here. Team 8 is up against Team Liquid. But here comes Calitrolls as well. Dodo, one hit from Dead Force to walk away. Nian still on the run. The flash ulti! Oh, man! And here comes the rest of that fight. 5v4 still. Nian has nowhere to go. Kill picked up. And the dive on in, a kill for Dominate as well. Dodo's nearly dead. Porpoise about to get chunked out also. Quas is way too tanky to go down, and the reinforcements have arrived. Janice here. Ironically, the most deaths in the game, but Super Tank Quas had an absolutely amazing game for himself.